here to complete his level 3 elective in the presentation mastery pathway with his project titled Shy Student to Confident Manager. Please help me welcome Geoff Peters.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. Shy Student to Confident Manager. In this short speech, I will be taking you on my Toastmasters journey, where I started from, some interesting things I learned along the way, and where I am today and where I hope to go as well. I studied computer science and music in school. When I was in elementary school, I actually became very interested in the computer lab, and I would spend most of my free time after school tinkering with the computers in the lab and learning lots about computers. When I went to high school, I actually got a job fixing the computers in the high school computer lab, and it was my first paid job. I got paid out of the principal's fund. The teacher was very supportive of my interest. When I was not fixing the computers at lunch hour or after school, I was in the band and I was playing saxophone or clarinet. I spent many hours practicing music. And if you learn a musical instrument as a child or when you're young, it's much easier to become very good at the music very quickly. But unfortunately, due to all this time I spent fixing computers and playing music, during that time I didn't really have much time to develop my communication skills or listening skills. When I went to a party or a social event or a networking event, I would talk to people, and I was very disappointed that after about 30 seconds of trying to talk to somebody, they would just walk away. And this just didn't happen just once, it happened many times. And I got the feeling that maybe something was wrong with me. And after all, it was very discouraging. If I talked to somebody and they walked away, how would I ever get experience talking to people if that was the reaction that I got? Also, my listening skills were not so good either. Whenever someone said something to me, for some reason my mind wasn't ready to listen, and I would ask them to repeat themselves. Now, imagine if you're someone trying to talk to me, and I always ask you to repeat yourself. It's a very frustrating experience for the speaker. And the result of that was not many people would actually want to speak to me. So a few years later, I was at my job. I got a job as a computer programmer, and I was doing music on the side. A colleague invited me to come to my first ever Toastmasters meeting at the office. Where I work is SAP, a global software company. I was very interested in Toastmasters because everyone around the room was speaking, and they were really good speakers, they were really good listeners, and I knew I had a lot to learn at Toastmasters. And the most amazing thing about Toastmasters, no matter how awkward I seemed, no one would walk away after 30 seconds of talking to me. People were giving me the time and space to practice my speaking, and it was a great opportunity also to listen carefully to other people and build my skill at listening. The next two things in my speech are where Toastmasters took me. As a software developer at the same company for over 14 years, I've now entered the process where I'm involved with job interviews and hiring people joining the company, both at an intern level, junior, intermediate, and senior candidates. Having done table topics, as you've seen earlier in the meeting, where I learned to do some impromptu thinking and talking on my feet, this has been very valuable in the interviewing process as well. Because if you're interviewing someone, you may know that one part of it is to assess the candidate's qualifications and find out if they are good for the job. Another big part of it is to talk positively about the company that you work for so that they can get an understanding of whether they want to work there. So typically candidates ask me questions such as, well, what makes you jump out of bed in the morning? Or what do you like the most about your job? Or tell me a bit about the culture at SAP. And because I've been in table topics and Toastmasters, I feel much more confident in meeting these very amazing candidates and talking in a positive light about our company. The final thing that Toastmasters has helped me is leadership. After being in Toastmasters for a few years, and I think I've been in Toastmasters for 10 years now, so it's been a long time and I really enjoy every year I'm in. I got invited to be on the executive team of this club, Club 59, as well as the executive team on the club at my office at SAP. This was my first ever time joining a leadership team and being on a board of a company. Toastmasters is kind of like a mini business, especially at Club 59 in Kitsilano. We have normally, before COVID, we had a very nice location we would meet, but this location was not free. We had to pay the rent. And we also had to attract new members to join and keep the members we had very happy with the club and how things were going. So as part of the leadership team, I got experience making decisions in a group using consensus and building an organization and customer service aspect. It was all very valuable. This led to me joining the board of my Strata Council, and after 2 years there, I'm currently the Strata president of the Strata Council, and I've had really interesting experiences doing maintenance projects as well. So I coordinated around 40 units to open their doors up on a schedule to install the TELUS fiber optic upgrade, which now we're using a very stable internet thanks to that. And I also organized the boiler replacement project to install a new hot water boiler in our building so we can have warm water throughout the winter. That's a big project that also had to be done at a leadership level. So after this, I think the next step for me would to become a leader in my career and maybe even become a manager at SAP. I know I'm just turning 40 this year, so I probably have another 15 or 20 years more of working in a software company, and I definitely can see myself along that leadership track to put my Toastmasters skills in practice. But one thing I learned through playing music is that you can only get better and perform well in a concert if you've had lots of practice. It actually takes every day practicing for an hour a day if you really want to get good at an instrument. Similarly with Toastmasters, it's like a place to practice your speaking and practice your listening. To me, that's the key. Without going to these meetings, I won't have a chance to practice. And by going to the meetings, I get to keep my skills current, and so that whenever I have to give a presentation on behalf of the Strata Council or on a job interview, I find that I'm ready to go and I have the thoughts and my ideas are able to flow out in a way that makes sense. Fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests, that's my story about how Toastmasters has helped me grow from being a shy student to hopefully a confident manager in the future. I hope this journey resonates with you and maybe gives you some more examples of why joining Toastmasters can be a very valuable and life-changing event. Thank you. I'll turn it back to our Toastmaster, Bangani.
Thank you so much, Geoff, for that wonderful speech. I'm sure everyone in the room can agree that your story can act as a sign of encouragement for anyone that's struggling with public speaking or is on the fence about joining Toastmasters. I think this is, for anyone that isn't a member yet, I think there's your sign right there.